way. And then I also want to call some people that I think may know them and compare that information with what the information I have here. So as far as I'm concerned, that's it. That's what I'm going to do.
So
spoken.
is there a list of, is this, the list on the back, the ones,
Those are applied.
these are all the applicants?
Yes, except we missed Ray Pickett on TDA, and did you say we missed somebody else?
Lauren Carter.
Lauren Carter is on planning board and board of adjustment. Her name's there, or his name is Lauren.
And
Okay, Lauren's in two places.
And Lee Rockamore is in two places.
Lee, okay.
you've got him. Okay, and Joe Papa did request to serve another term, if I'm not mistaken.
Is that under planning? I see
That's
his
under
name
planning.
under planning.
Yes, sir.
Okay, do you
So does
mind,
George Ellis.
so how many do we need? It looks like the yellow indicates how many we need.
That's correct.
So I'm just gonna put under planning, we need four.
Only four, and one of those has to be an ETJ representative, and there's only one applicant. Doesn't mean you have to take that applicant, but there's only one applicant.
Okay, ABC, we need two,
One.
One.
oh, sorry, I skipped. So the Board of Adjustment is
One
two.
and one ETJ.
And Lauren Carter's already on there as an alternate.
Okay,
So I
wait,
think what she's requesting is to be moved up. And, all right, Terry Story is an ETJ, so the
He's not asked to be put back on.
so we don't have any,
Yes, I think Harrison Hurst is, and he is at the county. He would be willing to serve on both, I think is what his letter said.
so we have to have, one of those has to be an ETJ.
Right. And unless I'm mistaken, he can serve ETJ on both planning board and board of adjustments.
Yes, that is correct.
Is there a requirement on any of the boards besides planning board, because Karen Diamond owns property here, but she doesn't live here full-time.
Did we bring the TDA requirements? The
She's
TDA
Brad.
requirements are a little bit different, and you have to be a business owner,
You have to have a certain number of business
a
owners.
certain number of lodging partners,
Right.
and one at large.
Okay, with the at-large we did last year. Lodging, both have been appointed and are not up yet.
Who were you talking about, Sue? I didn't get it.
Under BRAC board, Karen Diamond owns property, and she doesn't live here full-time. And I didn't know if that was a factor.
Okay, as far as TDA, Nicole just saved me here. Group one, lodging, 2 appointees. Group two, business or tourism related, that's 2 appointees. And group 3 is 1 at large, 1 appointee. So 5 members, 2 have to be lodging, 2 have to be business tourism, and 1 at large.
Right, but we already have those. The only one that we need is the business or tourism related. And then the town council rep.
Right.
You're looking at TDA.
So, business tourism, Dean and Ray would qualify for that.
What is it?
Maurice, you
What
would?
is Karen's business?
Yeah, she owns short-term rentals. Just to bring it up.
So she's
Diamond
lodging
rent.
partner, I guess.
Well, she's not asking for TDA, she's asking for BRAC.
Brack.
Oh,
don't our board members have to be voters or not?
let's see, on the TDA, I know that in
That's
some
what I was-
towns there's an exception, is there one here in the code?
I'm thinking our board members have to be voters.
I mean, that's why I think that's part of why they asked me to be on BRAC, because they couldn't find any, they needed to find a voter.
If I'm not mistaken, they have to be voters.
Voting
You have to
residents.
be,
No,
you have to move
voting
up.
residents and/or taxpayers.
Right.
Well,
Oh, okay.
is that for all of them or
Taxpayers.
just
This is just
tourism?
This is
You have,
just,
Brad?
No. Taxpayers makes sense.
TDA does not have to be a voter.
Does not.
Has to be at least a
But
taxpayer.
a taxpayer. That works.
And
So which one of these would fit into the category of business and tourism related? How many of the people?
Two,
For what? TDA?
For
two,
TDA?
two.
I would, Buzz Helms, I don't
Ray
know,
and, Ray and the other guy,
Dean,
Dean. The other two don't have anything to do with it.
Buzz Helms doesn't, I don't know him. Okay, well, that's what it is.
I mean, Aldrich, I don't think he has anything to do with it. I'm not sure.
He had stated in his resume that he owned a business in town. It's a business he started out of Atlanta.
Publishing.
Who's that?
Publishing
Publishing.
company
Oh,
that publishes his
how
book.
many beds does that have?
I don't know. I've never been in his home before. But don't know. Not,
Okay.
so following those guidelines,
He's got one of his BMW.
you're wishing to stay.
Huh? He's got one in his BMW.
Right now.
What the membership rules are.
Oh, okay.
What's the name of the company?
Isabella
Huh?
Propeller.
What is it a corporate, is it a corporation within North Carolina?
I don't know that.
What?
Is it a publishing company?
Oh,
Have no clue.
Hey, just, would somebody verify?
When in doubt.
For me, for planning, we need 4 people. For ABC, we need 1. BRAC, we need 3. Board of Adjustments, 2. TDA, 2. Am I
Right.
getting that right?
As long as you make sure you kind of separate them, like, planning board is 3 and 1 ETJ. And you only have 1 person there that fits the ETJ, that way you don't have to worry anymore.
So just 3.
That's done.
Right.
Where are you on?
Okay,
And same with board of adjustments,
okay.
is 1 opening and 1 ETJ. Is what is available on the board of adjustments.
But neither one of those have ETJ? Is that what you're saying?
Right, neither one, Lauren and Lee both live in the town. The only person that we know there that correct me if I'm wrong. Harrison Hurst is the only one that put in his letter, he would be willing to serve the ETJ on both boards.
Oh, I see, okay. And we need an ETJ on
He
both.
should be included in the Board of Adjustments.
As an ETJ possibility, if that's what you want.
Harrison,
Birds.
Hurst,
HERGST.
You know, the new chef at, Wample, at Gideon Ridge, what's his first name?
Hunter?
Hunter lives in the ETJ. He hadn't expressed any interest, but,
Is,
If you did
because
express.
Buzz Helms
yeah.
requested any open volunteer?
That's correct.
And is Judson Drive in the town limits?
who?
Or does it stop at Cone Road? It is?
who?
So he could apply, he could be on any of the other boards, too. Just to really,
Kidwell?
so
Where do you see his name?
he was one of the first letters. He's
I don't
on
see it.
46.
He's
Okay,
got
I don't
two
see his
boards.
name on this list.
Yeah,
They
he's
didn't
on
put
any
him-
board, look all the way to the right, all the way
They
to the
put
right.
him any board on the right.
Yeah, it says any board.
Oh, I thought you said Jensen somebody.
He lives on Jensen Street, but I
Oh.
wasn't sure.
Okay, I'm
Because
sorry.
on planning board, you have to be in the town limits, and I wasn't sure that was town limits.
Okay, I thought that was his name. I was looking for Jensen
Sorry.
as
He
his
lives at the
name.
very top of the hill.
Huh?
He lives at the end of the road. Is that in the town?
Hillary said yes. Back to Buzz Helms.
He didn't specify a board. Is that what it was?
No, is he in town?
Is he in town?
Oh, Jensen Drive,
The
yeah,
question
Jensen
is that,
Drive.
is that in the town, if you have property in his backyard? Park, just park.
Yeah, just so you know, I said the town limits. We can double check.
If you
So,
pull up the tax records and see. So I believe he does.
so what I'm hearing for the Board of Adjustments, we need an ETJ, person, okay? So we only have one ETJ person that's applied,
That's right.
and that would be Harrison.
That's right, and he's already serving on the board of adjustment, right?
No,
No, he wants, he was
He
accepted.
said he'd serve 2 boards.
Where is Jensen? I don't see it.
it's Jensen Drive. Oh, I'm sorry, Jensen Drive is
I checked on
past.
voter list, it's in, yeah, go ahead.
Do we have anybody request the ETJ for the planning board? Or we're gonna use, because
Well,
Harrison,
Harrison.
Harrison's the only person that's in the ETJ, and it has to be an ETJ person.
so we're gonna throw him.
I would,
He'd be considered for planning board
and Board of
and board of
Adjustment.
adjustments. Okay.
Okay, so that's sort of, so now we're down to 1 on Board of Adjustments and 3 on Planning Board. And TDA is 2, but 1 being a council person and the other person has to be business or tourism. And what I'm hearing y'all say is that
Wait, what'd you say about TDA?
TDA, one of the persons has to be the council member, and the other one has to be involved in business or tourism. So they split it up so that they're all different representatives.
Okay.
What's your name on TDA?
Where is it?
I don't see it.
It is the.
It's one of the yellow.
One of the yellows, yeah.
It says seeking appointment.
But no, Doug hasn't put his name in under the TDA seeking appointment. You're not in there. Should we write you?
Well,
in?
that's appointed by the council.
Well, you know, your term doesn't expire until, oh, yeah, it does.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so that's
I
an
forgot it's
appointment by the
2018.
council there, you know, amongst each other.
And he would
Huh?
be, he'd be the council member.
Yeah, I know.
Right. And instead of an open at-large person, you know,
So
like
does
the rest of them.
Jerry Starnes own his own business?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So he would qualify for TDA. Dean Bullis would, Ray Pickett would. And looking at Buzz Helms, he wouldn't qualify for that.
He doesn't qualify for that one.
And Maurice doesn't either, does he?
I don't know exactly what his affiliation is, but he is using his association with the Charity Horse Show, I think, as his business interest.
Well, he could be tourism for that, actually. He would
I
qualify for
think
that.
business and tourism are together.
Yeah.
And Aldridge is claiming,
His book that he published is his
what
business.
are the qualifications for this position? What does it say?
If you get back over to him.
Business or tourism.
They have to be working in business or tourism.
He is an author, publisher.
He has published at least one children's book about the Blowing Rock.
All right, is that Pelham?
Yeah, yes, Isabella.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just says the Blowing Rock Tourism Development Authority shall consist of 5 members who shall be appointed and approved by the town council, also shall also be voting residents and/or taxpayers. And it doesn't get very specific. Lodging, 2 partners have to be lodging. That's not John, that would be Ray.
Well, we don't need those positions. Lori has it and Rob Dyer has it, so we're not even looking at that.
Okay.
That's done.
So
Don't
business and
confuse us.
tourism related, 2 members shall be affiliated with businesses and/or nonprofit tourist attractions organizations that are currently active in the promotion of travel and tourism in Blowing Rock.
Nonprofit?
It says nonprofit? Oh, my goodness. Well, it says affiliated with business and or, so it doesn't necessarily
Okay,
have to be
either or,
both
right,
of them.
yeah, either or.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, do we have those two already on there?
There's only one,
There's only one?
and that's the one we're looking for. Dean Bullis is currently in that position.
Okay.
He has requested to continue. Jerry's offered. Ray Pickett has requested. John Aldridge and Maurice. So they sort of-
I would assume anybody that owns a motel could be considered both from a lodging partner and from
Oh,
a
yeah,
business.
yeah.
So,
Okay. All right, so that one works.
For any of the members that are currently serving, you have a attendance sheet for each of the individual boards. And there was only one that was a real concern, and that person is reapplying anyways.
Is there an attendance policy for any of these boards?
Yeah.
There is.
Good.
Can't miss one anymore, I think, than 3 a year. I think that's what it is.
Say that again.
I think you can't miss any more than 3 a year.
And that was one of our questions on the Karen Diamond application. And she said that she would be able to make at least 9 meetings per year.
Yeah, then she would qualify.
For the TDA, it's 2 consecutive meetings
Well, I'd leave her 3 short.
without an excused absence.
What was that?
She'd be already next then, she's by her own admission.
So they can
She
miss.
said she'd be able to attend 9 or more. And
Or
it said
more.
at least 9.
Oh, minimum.
Can't miss more than
So they
3.
don't really have.
Okay.
Are all of them like that? 2 consecutive?
I don't know,
Is it-
TDA is, I don't know the rest.
I don't think the rest are, I'll have to go back in.
Yeah, you can't do that on planning board either.
Yeah, I'm thinking we
consecutive
had a
meetings,
restriction.
right.
Yeah, we do.
What's it?
That
You
there was a
can't
restriction.
miss any more than 3 meetings.
Oh,
Planning board
okay,
either.
yeah.
And this is the
First,
other thing you guys ought to think about too, is that in part of the evaluation, is we wanted to take a look at how long some of these people have served,
Correct.
so that if it was time, if we felt that it was time to get somebody else involved, something like that, that we should maybe do that.
Well, and we have excellent candidates, so,
I'm just,
no, I'm with,
I just want to point that
reiterating.
out.
the
That
restrictions
one of the
on
things that
service
we-
start with this term, is my understanding.
Correct.
We instituted service restrictions at a former meeting.
I don't think we did restrictions, we said we could do it, but we
Right.
didn't say that it was absolute.
That's right.
That's right.
That's exactly right.
It was-
But I'm saying, if you've been on there 20 years, starting this term, that restriction starts now.
Correct, correct,
It's not retroactive.
correct.
On page 69, I don't know how to read this. It's attendance.
Oh, okay. The way you read this is the Board of Adjustment did not have a single meeting in 2017. Consequently, everybody had 0 attendance or they had 100% attendance.
Okay.
I looked at that the other night, thought it was a typo, okay?
Yeah, it's kind of
Okay.
weird, but
Thank
that's
you.
one of those
We
things
should
about
have
Board
told
of
you,
Adjustment.
sorry.
You know, there may be several issues come up in a year, but it's not
Maybe
likely.
nothing, yeah.
One or
And we
two
give them a
meetings
heads
year,
up, right?
Typical.
If something's coming in the pipes, so that they'll be in town
That's
or
right.
they know it's coming.
And you have alternates. Like on that sheet that you're talking about on page 69, if I'm not, oh yeah, I've got it listed.
Yeah,
Alternates, the last 3 are alternates. So if you have the, how many is there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 listed there. If any one can't be in town, then you call up your alternates. Matter of fact, I'd have to look, see how our town code is written, but the alternate should attend the meeting regardless because somebody could get sick at a meeting.
at the next one.
It actually does say that.
Okay.
Okay.
So hopefully, you'll have at least the number you need by using your alternates.
Okay.
The only question there, and I don't think we run into that, as far as a quorum could be met without the one being there, is the ETJ, there really isn't an alternate for them. So if they're out, they're out. So,
Oh, right.
And if, where it's really important that the ETJ representative be in attendance is if there is an issue that involves the ETJ.
Now, I have a question for you, Ed. I have David Baskin on here. He works for me at Roy Knox.
Well, he does.
Yes, he does.
So automatically disqualified. I'm kidding.
All right, hey, let's go to Biltmore. And I will say, and I will speak in favor of those people that I know. There's a few people here I don't know. I think David Baskin probably would be good on planning board. Personally speaking, because he has owned a business in town. He's been involved in real estate, and I've seen his business aptitude working for me, and I'm very impressed. And I may be a little biased though, but Lauren Carter, very fine person, never really been involved with, what her business aspirations are. I know they're good people. Let's see, Alice Ross.
Race.
Rose.
Right.
She's been on a lot of boards, very well educated, could be a true asset, don't know. E.B. Springs, don't know that much about him, but he's very professional, he's a retired attorney. Does own a home in town. That's the extent of it, other than probably get a lot more information from his resume.
I know him. He's a good person. He goes to
Seems
church
to be.
with me.
Yeah. Of course, we all know Joe Papa. Can't go wrong there.
I think the other thing on
Very
planning
good as
board, where I have been attending meetings,
Mhm.
he's not afraid to talk about the tough issues.
Exactly.
And I like that. Joe Papa.
Yeah. Yep. Jim Hartley, we all know, very astute business person in town. I think kind of falls into the same category as Joe.
And she also has spoken up against some issues that are a little tough.
Exactly.
So is George Ellis,
Yes.
who's the current member.
Now, we've got so many qualified people there, it's,
Let me tell you.
that's tough.
Any of these planning board, y'all said something about they've been on the board for a long time?
None of them have.
None of the planning board. When that comes up for the other boards, will you share, please, who's been on boards for a long time?
Well, you
Yeah,
can
one
look,
night.
see under data appointed.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see that copy.
It's the third one over.
Yeah,
So were all new, and of course, we had the advantage in that we were on, so.
right.
Jerry Starnes has been on Board of Adjustments since 2004, so there's a long term.
Okay.
But
Dave?
he's coming off. Jerry Starnes is coming off Board of Adjustment.
He's requested to be in here. He's made a
I thought he
request.
requested TD,
Not on board of adjustment.
Jerry Starnes, he
Oh, he wanted
requested
TDA.
Right.
Okay, all right.
Both.
No,
One, okay.
He just did one,
yeah,
okay.
just TDA.
And then David Green,
He's grown to the ground down there.
he's been since 2000. Dean Bullis is 2009, so there's another long-termer. Doug Matheson, God, he's been.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, been there a long time.
And then the BRAC group, you can see that.
Luckily, the thing with the burning groups, you're lucky if you get enough to cover what's going on.
Yeah, which was one of the reasons.
If you can get enough to cover what's going on.
Well, we have 4 people that want it.
Well, I've been here before, and we had to sit in this room and call them up.
Yeah.
People who hadn't applied?
Yeah,
Didn't have enough yet.
Didn't have enough.
haven't done it.
Well, and I think part of that is we've had a much better notification. We put it on the website, plus you sent the email out. That wasn't done in the past, and I think, and, you know, people are getting involved, which I think is just wonderful.
I would,
Remember, we
I would
did
encourage
council.
you to, that if you don't know the people, is to call them up, chat with them a little bit, find out why they're doing this. I'll give you an example here, Jerry Miller. See Jerry Miller? That name? I don't think probably too many people in this room know who Jerry Miller is.
I do.
I do.
But Nelda,
Yeah.
Nelda.
Yeah, she was on planning board
Yeah.
with it.
And
He's also-
And I read Jerry's, when I read his bio, how many people, I don't know too many people that even get in to MIT to get a bachelor's degree. Don't even know one, and never met one. And he not only got in, he also got a master's. I mean, I could use that, when I see him, I just need some of that gray matter up here, brother.
Ed, your
He attends almost every council member since I've been here. I mean, council member, every council meeting.
That guy.
He's got white hair.
He's the one that brought up the fence at the little
And the light-
community to the
And the light
right.
on the flagpole.
Yeah.
The what?
The light on the
He
flagpole.
lives right beside the fire station.
Oh,
In the, what's that
Those condos.
condos or townhouses?
yeah.
I think the townhouses.
Townhouses. And where they had a fence, but it was taken down when the road was built, and they're waiting on AT&T and
Moving
get their
wires.
act together.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
that's
I met him
Clearing
down at
Court.
the wellness center. I said, haven't I seen you walking around town too? Yeah, you gotta do a walk all the time. No, you're good. Good on you.
Well, I got a question for you now, in case this comes up. From this point on, can anybody else submit an application, or are the applications done for now?
The deadline was December 31.
Okay.
That was posted. That doesn't mean you can't,
I mean, I think we have more than enough applicants, don't we?
I think you do too.
Yeah.
Just because you have enough applicants doesn't mean, you may be short on some. You may have somebody that you say, we're not gonna appoint that person, which means you don't have enough people, and at that point, you would have to reopen it for that particular board.
Well, and I think y'all neglected to put Buzz Helms on everything, because well, you put it over here, but he also would go on BRAC and ABC and Board of
Yeah,
Adjustments.
he'd go with any of them.
So, the only thing he wouldn't would be TDA because he's not business or tourism.
But I'm just saying, he's the guy that could be put on any of them.
All right.
I can tell you on Board of Adjustments, that's kind of a unique board as well, and I know they don't meet very often, but there's an educational component that those people are gonna have to be willing to meet. They can't typically just walk into a meeting and know what they can and cannot do. They're going to have to go get training. It's one of the bad things about Board of Adjustment. If we were a big town, Board of Adjustment probably meets every month. County Board of Adjustment probably meets, they probably don't even meet every month. They probably only meet 6 or 7 times a year. Hickory, they probably meet every month. So this educational component is really important, that somebody be predisposed, if possible, to some of this information that they're going to have to make decisions on. I mean, I'm talking about the way they operate. You don't want a historian, if that's not a good example, you don't want a historian to give an engineer's job. All right, I'm not saying those two are equal, but that's kind of what I mean, is that it would be good if they had some business acumen or something that leads them to be on the Board of Adjustment.
Is there a video that they can watch, or how has Kevin been dealing with that in the past?
Well, I don't know, because like I say, we haven't had a single meeting the entire time I've been here.
That would be something I would ask, whether there's a video, like an ethics course
There's
or whatever.
usually a 2 or 3 day course that's given each year that And then sometimes there's some half-day classes.
I think there is a half-day class, and then I also believe there is something online that we asked the last one to do that went on. Because
Yeah.
that's, a lot of people don't understand, that's probably the most powerful board that we have, you know.
You know, their decisions are independent of council.
Yeah, you appeal
Oh,
from
yes,
that
we
to
know.
Superior Court.
The other thing that
Correct.
I like to talk to people about that is, if you want to serve the town, this is a good place to, quite frankly, it's a good place to start. Because you start learning how things are done, working with other people, et cetera, in a governmental atmosphere. And then the council, or the people that are running, get to know you a little bit, they see your name up there. So then if you want to apply the following year or the year after for one of these other boards, they know that, you know, that you have a genuine interest in serving our town. And not that you don't already, but you understand what I mean. You've got a little experience behind you. And so sometimes that helps in getting people to serve on these boards that we have trouble once in a while with getting
So
people to
here-
sign up for.
Harrison's already on Board of Adjustments.
That's what I thought.
So what we would have to do is move him to ETJ. And it would change to a different 3-year term.
Yes,
And then
ma'am.
we'd have to fill the Harrison.
And then
When
move
he was
somebody
on-
over to the ET.
His, he is not on right now as an ETJ rep because he doesn't live in ETJ, but he is building a house that he's moving into this month, in the ETJ, so.
Who is that?
Harrison.
There's no restriction on two board
No,
services.
I think planning board and board of adjustment are kind of logical, and I think it's really, this is just personal opinion, it's very beneficial to me for people that have served on the planning board, make typically good candidates for board of adjustment, because they already know the planning process and the kind of things that they're gonna be having to deal with.
Well, I think anybody can learn. You just have to go, you just have to have some training.
You don't have enough candidates in some cases to
Oh, we don't have that
pick
problem.
and choose like that, so.
Well, I got, and y'all can enlighten me, I just have a question on 3 people. And the question I have is because I'm not placing them in my mind, and I don't know anything about them. And we're like, if y'all have something to say about them, I'd like to know exactly who they are. I'm not exactly sure who John Calvert is. He lives on Hinkle Street. I was just wondering if anybody here knew him, you know, I mean, I'll find out, I can look that up for myself later on, but I was just,
I don't know him, and I live on the street above him.
uh,
I don't necessarily mean it.
Chris Wetmore. What's he at? Brack, you know, he had a great resume. and
He did have a
everything.
good resume.
I just didn't know, I just wondered if anybody knew who he was. You know, I just had
Well, we need 3 there, right?
right, I mean, I'm not having a problem, I was just
Just
wanting to know
trying to
who.
place them, like, does
Like
the
who
term
they might
review
be,
or-
yeah, right.
We got 4 people though for that.
I just, where's your 4th one?
Buzz.
Buzz Helms.
Oh,
I was just wondering if anybody here, you know,
was there one more?
no, those were the main 2 that I think the other person I think I know, so.
I haven't been.
So for planning board, we need 3. And if we all voted for different 3 people, then we wouldn't have anybody for planning board. Because there's 16 people.
We keep voting till we narrow down to 3 people, am I not correct, Ed?
I think 2 on that, if I read right, you can only vote 3 times.
Do you see the math here? There's 5 of us that vote, and we can vote for 3 people. There's 16 people.
Right.
There is a possibility that we could all vote for 3 different people and not have a planning board.
But would we not make
So how do you narrow these down?
You need to talk with one another.
dartboard.
Yeah, we need to just say, you know, hey, I'm all for John Doe and feel like he's qualified. What are your thoughts? And you can say, well, why do you think he's qualified? Well, he's qualified. He did this for 40 years or,
And I think what Jim mentioned is important too, and
Give them a call.
yeah.
give them a call,
Mhm.
interview them,
Yeah.
you know?
But am I not true on that? I think I've read that in,
I'm gonna have to
that
say,
you're only allowed to vote
We
3
got-
times.
that
That's
seems
sound-
like I've read that too, but I'm not
And
positive.
that would be all you're allowed to, but, so you've got 12 people, so if you use your 3 votes, you better use them for the 3 people that you want, or you're going, you know, you could lose your vote.
I may be wrong, I'm guessing here, but I'm thinking that if each of you read the resumes, the letter of interest, and from what you know of them personally, that I think there's gonna be more of you who think the same candidates are good candidates than you might think. I don't think you're gonna come up with all
You've
3
blacked out
of
their
votes.
email addresses. How are we gonna get in touch with them?
We'll give you that.
Okay.
Those
I
email
hope they're
addresses are
forwarded.
not public record, their telephone numbers are not public
Right.
record,
Their
their
phones.
mailing addresses
Good
are
point.
public record.
Okay.
So we redacted that so that we weren't violating anybody's rules.
All right.
Did you
So,
redact telephone numbers too?
Yes, sir.
so we need to get
Unless
those
we
phone
missed-
numbers from you. How?
Ask, we can provide those. to
A
you.
list of numbers for all the candidates.
We can unredact, we can give you all this information if we redact.
I see what you're doing. You're protecting them in case,
That's right.
we leave this out on the breakfast table at,
Well, it's on the
TCD.
website.
It's on the website. Yeah.
what?
It's
on the website.
Oh, these letters.
Yeah, all this information is.
Okay.
And he can actually send us out a new thing in their emails or whatever.
With their
a whole new
phone
thing
numbers and
with everybody's names now and phone numbers.
That's the interesting thing about emails.
Do you want
is
to
that
continue on TDA?
I'm looking right now. I'm
Emails, people
I'm
can give us
leaning,
their emails.
maybe
we
not.
put on
I'm
the
looking
list,
at how
and we
much is
cannot
on
use it
my
for any other
Like-
reason.
plate.
You can't share it back.
That's right.
They
Well,
can come in.
Somebody can come in and ask that they can read the email list, and they can do it, they can't take it with them.
So, do you mind giving us a list of these
Be happy
people's,
to. We'll get
phone
you that.
numbers and emails?
We will.
Is that,
That's
And
Okay.
really, honestly, I think.
I'm not going by their
We're not
house.
gonna email that to you because then it will
No.
be open to public record.
Yes.
So we will have to make a copy.
And
Okay.
I think Virginia, I've always learned through the years, you learn more by a person by looking in the eyes and talking to them or talking to them on the phone. So much can be done via email. It's not really give you the true perspective of the individual. So I would strongly suggest a telephone call, you know?
well, I will try to do
I-
that,
and
but
do it
if
around
they
9,
don't
10 o'clock
answer
at
their
night.
phone, then I have to get them by email. So I gotta,
Do
go
it, okay, that's
two
fine,
ways.
2 prongs.
On a board, on a list of people seeking appointment as large as planning board, I pick up how many appointments you need 4
3.
or 3 plus your ETJ. I pick up 4 or 5 candidates and try to talk with them and see if what you think from what they've written and what you know is consistent with the way you feel about them after you talk with them, if possible.
And I'll bring it up now while we're on this, so we don't get off track here on the boards. We do have one more board appointment that I forgot, and it's my fault. I didn't get it to Ed in time, because it didn't dawn on me, is that we have an appointment for, a council appointment
Watauga County
to
Parks and Rec.
Watauga County Parks and Rec to fill Ray's place. So that would be another town council person.
Well, do we feel like we've covered this as much as we can cover it for now?
Well, I know Carol Knapp. She's a retired realtor, plus she is very into the village character, keeping the village,
Mhm.
like it is,
Yeah.
just about the best way.
I think Ed had a good point. It's just up to us now to talk amongst ourselves, talk to these individuals and get their feedback and,
Remember that, you can do that in groups of 2.
That's right.
Well, as these, all these people, cats got my tongue here.
They, ask them why they're doing
Not
this.
saying anything about anybody.
But, well, that being said, shall we move on to council meeting agenda process? What do you think, Ed?
Thank you for printing all this out and putting it out in a way that we can work through it. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome, I hope it works. So there's a lot more applicants. I can tell you that this is a strong endorsement, I think, for our community and in a town our size, with our permanent population, often it is very, very difficult to get positions filled with the proper number of people.
2 years ago?
This is a good showing on behalf of Bullard Rock citizens.
That is pretty impressive.
Really,
Our
2
residents we
years,
have.
well, it was 2 years ago, we had to call people from right here.
And we also put that in, we put the ad in addition to the website, it was in the newspaper.
Oh, is it? No, the last 4 years, we've had a lot of people.
Do you think it's
Well, I don't
because
know,
we
when we
narrowed
put
down
Jim
the
Papel on, we had to call
terms?
him.
No, I think we're just seeing more, I think people are seeing more out of you guys, the council, and seeing that your interest, your vested interest, and so more of the public are coming forward and saying, you know, hey, we want to be part of the town too.
On that part, Ed, that I was talking about is on page 98. Section 3, number 3 under A.
3 under A, if more than one appointee is to be selected, each member shall have as many votes as there are slots to be filled. The member must cast all of his votes. Different nominees, the nominees receiving the highest vote shall be appointed.
So you only have like, if you put up all 12, if you had to go down the list, you'd only be able to vote 3 times because there's 3 slots. That's if I read that right.
I think
Well, if you do a written, then you can take out the people that nobody has put on your list.
He said.
you can, but
he
I'll
says
also
you can't
remind
do it.
you that you can do a written ballot, but you have to put your name on it and it has to be read aloud who you voted for.
Right.
I think what she,
And that almost negates.
what she's trying to say is,
idea
I
of a
think what
secret
she's
ballot.
trying to get.
You can't do a secret ballot.
Are you trying to get at the thing that everybody votes for 3
And then,
or
and
4 or
then,
something like that?
right, and if,
And then you do a tally,
right,
and then the ones that don't get any or don't
Kinda
go
like
to the
the
second
councilman.
round?
right, it's either that or we're gonna
town-
be there forever.
For
Like
town
Dancing with the
manager, we
Stars.
came back with their list, and it was amazing for 5 different council members, how many of the same people out of 40 and 50 and 60 applicants that came back with the same name on them.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay,
All right, back to you, Ed.
what page you on? 90?
this page you want to be on.
This,
89.
the last
89. You want to use my book, Ed?
Everybody puts it on the last page. Well, this section actually starts on page 89, but the particular emphasis on this deals with that information on page 92, the agenda. And I just want to see if what is in our rules of procedure is consistent with what this council wants, because it's not written in stone, it can be changed. And there have been questions about the agenda, and who can add something, and when you can add it, and right now, what we try to do is we try to make a cutoff for agenda items for an upcoming meeting. We try to make those on Monday of the week before the meeting. We try to have our agenda packet ready, as close to ready as we can have it on Wednesday before the Tuesday town council meeting. We are usually finalizing, printing, binding, putting on website and everything on Thursday. when somebody comes up and says, I want to add something to the agenda on Monday, sometimes we've got to go back and redo something in order to put it on there. From what I understand in this rules of procedure, any council member can ask for any item to be put on the agenda.
Do you want that to go through you or straight to,
It can be either one
because
of
this,
us.
if you read it like
Yeah,
that,
it
then
goes-
the clerk,
Clerk, yeah. And she's gonna notify me, but it can also come to me, but so if you wanna be consistent with the letter of the law.
No, no.
It goes to the
I've been-
clerk.
no, but I mean, tell us exactly how you want it.
One of us needs to know as soon as possible.
Okay.
So, and if it's something that's gonna require research or written documents, that prior week would be really good. Now, I don't mean that we can't deal with things really quick if we have to. We do, we've done it many times. But getting the agenda packet out is sometimes stressful. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
It is, we've got a lot of different things coming from staff and trying to get everybody to get everything to us on time and trying to get the final packet together, and it's just frankly stressful sometimes. Not near as stressful as this one.
Did you say you want the agenda items the Monday,
Monday before.
The week before.
the week before? All right, you don't give us the agenda list until Thursday evening about 6 o'clock, so I don't even know what's on the agenda until Thursday. So if you're gonna do that, you need to send me the agenda Monday, because I'm clueless, and you need to give us our packet earlier.
Or can you give us like what, not the whole packet,
About a preemptive.
but what,
Outline.
like,
Just send the
new
agenda.
business?
Just an outline.
Well, we don't generally have it that refined yet. We don't even know everything often that's gonna be on it. That's that far ahead.
Then you can't expect me to give you information a week before if I don't even know what's on the agenda.
All right.
So you need to rethink that. Because I'm clueless until Thursday at 6, and a lot of times I may be in a meeting and they may not get it until the next day. And I can't call you when I'm at work, unless it's on my lunch hour, after hours, or it's before 8 o'clock when I start work.
I see what you're saying.
I'm at a loss if we had something really absolutely necessary. I mean, so urgent that it had to be on that month's agenda.
That could be
then that
voted
could
on
be-
that
then
day,
Then that could be
at the
given
meeting.
to you on that Thursday after we got
Absolutely.
the agenda. But if it isn't that urgent, why couldn't it wait until the next month?
And that is a possibility as well.
But we can, I mean, as I understand it, we vote in the agenda at the meeting. So if somebody wanted to put something on the agenda at the meeting, we could do that.
You
And
could,
voted
subject
As long as
to
it didn't leave any-
limitations. If any two members say they don't want it on there.
Right, I mean, we have to vote it in.
But it cannot be where it cannot be a public hearing, am I correct?
That's right.
Right.
I mean, I don't expect that to happen. I
I
mean, we
guess,
need
let me
to
go
have-
back to what Sue said, because
Okay.
I understand what you're saying, and I think what we mean is if you know that you've got something coming up that you want to see on the agenda, let us know as soon as you know.
The only way I'm gonna know that is if you're giving me updates on stuff that's coming up before you. I mean, that's what Scott did. We were given information, and but we were given information, so it allowed us to think of agenda items. The other thing that's happened to us before that I think is a mistake is that we've gotten the agenda packet, and there has been a developer that comes in and planning an inspection puts them on Friday, which doesn't give me enough time to really research it, because it only gives me really Monday. Because everything's, in other words, there may be somebody that says chamber, there may be some, I want this on the agenda, but they come up Friday evening. So if you're gonna do it to us, then you should need to do it to everybody. If there's somebody that wants some kind of development or something, they should not be allowed to do it the Friday before our meeting on
Well, we already
Tuesday.
know that because it's already been the planning board, is it not?
Well, I called because I didn't know if Morningside, the minutes were not on the website. I did not know that Morningside, whether, I heard through the grapevine, that they were coming before us at the January meeting. And I had, I was there. But I didn't know what, if they were coming to us, were they coming to us with the exact same?
You mean February meeting?
In December.
No, it was actually, because December was when planning board addressed it. Then I heard that they were gonna come before January, and that's why I called or emailed.
I don't know where that came from, that they might be in January. It's not even absolutely definite.
It was the
they're coming
rumor
at all,
mill
but-
just addressing.
Yeah, because right from the beginning, I was told, at least by Kevin, that they may bring this back in February. They will take some time. So I don't know where the January might have come from.
I mean,
It doesn't
I heard
really
February.
matter, but-
They might bring it up in February. That's all I heard.
But I mean, I don't think the chamber should be allowed to put something in Friday.
And we don't allow it. And I know of it.
Okay, well, I think.
Well, why don't you, simplify it. What is the tightest
Friday
span
after we've already published the.
that we can, okay, you say it Monday a week before. Can we have that stretched to Wednesday the week before for any urgent matters, if need be?
And I think it should be everybody. It shouldn't just be council people. It should be people in the community. I mean, because of the fact that you want to research it.
But the more, I think, that the later you run into it, it's gonna be the later you're gonna get the final agenda. And the later the public is gonna get the final agenda. That's the bad point about putting it off till Wednesday. The later you run means the later you're gonna get it, means the later the public's gonna get it.
And that's true.
So I think personally, Monday should be the cutoff date for everybody, unless it is an emergency. And that way it's out and the public and everybody knows it, and they've had that whole week to see it roughly before it comes to us before a meeting on Tuesday.
Can you give us a rough draft?
We can try that.
Would that be helpful?
I think it would.
Yeah,
We don't
I
need the
mean,
whole
it's
package.
mainly new
Yeah.
business
We
is
don't-
what you're
No,
talking
we don't need the
about.
packet,
Yeah,
but I
just-
would
just
say,
the
let me
agenda.
know what's coming
Yeah.
up.
I mean, we know what old business is gonna be,
Yeah.
because it's from the prior meeting.
Well, we can
It's
certainly
just
try to
new
do that and
business.
smooth that out.
The flag thing just blindsided me, Ed. I
What
wasn't
did?
ready.
What?
Flags, no.
Oh,
Well, don't y'all feel that what we should try and do is try and stay
Yeah, but I
that
think it
week
needs
out?
to be everybody. It needs to be council.
That's why I
It
mean
needs to
everybody,
be,
council included.
departments, it needs to be
So-
chamber, it needs to be whoever.
So
If
we'll-
if it's an
we'll-
emergency, I'm sure Ed can send out a
Monday's the
thing.
deadline to
A
everybody.
bank washes out or something like that, that he feels that it needs, absolutely has to be on this agenda. Most of the time, it's nothing that can't go on. 'Cause
And I think-
I'd like to be able to get it out quicker to the public too, to be, so where they
I
know.
would too. I mean, we can try. I understand y'all used to get it on Friday for your Tuesday meeting.
Yeah.
And then you got moved to Thursday, and it doesn't matter what day it's gonna be on. It's gonna be stressful to try to get it out by that day. It's just the nature of the beast. But we can try to get it out on Wednesday.
If you
What about
stop,
the-
if you stop accepting though, it should
Can
make
they
it
get you the
easier.
information that you need
They have a deadline, and they are usually,
ahead of it?
they're usually at least by the deadline.
When, is that deadline on Monday?
It is.
That's a week and a day.
Weekend day?
Used to be we didn't get it.
And I think you need to send it out to the people in town and to chamber and everybody else and let them know that this is what we're doing.
Send what?
The information that if they have
You
something
know,
that goes.
changing, the change.
Right.
Okay, good. We can do that.
What's that?
Yeah, we need to adopt that somehow or other. Put it in.
All right, so can we make it an item to be considered at the next town council meeting, and y'all can vote on whether you want to make a change to this year?
How about a
I think it's
consent?
early enough.
How about what?
How about a consent?
That could be a consent agenda.
Consent, so we- yeah, okay.
So that's really gonna address B, C.
And
Yeah, consent item.
that's the only part of this that we're really addressing is the agenda. I mean, it still has nothing to do with what Virginia mentioned or any of that. You know, you can still do that.
I don't think we
There
can
is
then
a
put
thing in
anything
here
here
that
at this
allows
meeting
you
on
to
the
come at the
consent,
night of the meeting
consent
and
agenda.
ask for something to be put on the agenda.
Well, this thing about the, you know, what
That's
you-
just states.
that's
That would
something
be in
about
order when
changing when you can put
approve
on
this
the,
agenda.
bring that up
Correct.
with consent
Anything
agenda.
that's
We vote on it, we
I
vote
mean,
on it.
we're saying we all.
It's on, it's,
So
that's
we're
the
making
only
a decision
thing.
here.
It just-
We don't
vote until the council.
When you put something on the consent agenda, any member who wants discussion, it has to be removed from the consent agenda and put in new business.
It has to have 2 people voting to remove it.
So, in effect,
Well,
to
that's
me,
spelled out for you.
by putting something from this meeting
Consent.
on the consent agenda, we're saying we've made a decision to do whatever it is. That's what that implies to
Well, then we
me.
better put it on new business.
We better put everything from this meeting on new business.
Yeah,
We can do that too.
do that too.
So, that was the primary thing that I wanted to address here. And Just one of you wanted to talk about that as well.
Shocker.
The, within this packet, there is some good information on that, rules of procedure and also on public records and that kind of thing, so this is a document that you'll want to keep in perpetuity, I'm sure.
Which is that?
Perpetuity, you know where that is, huh?
I don't know.
It's just south of Dunn.
Oh, by the way, nobody, let me go back. Got just a tidbit here. I'm surprised that none of you looked up there and said, wow.
We did. Doug and I talked about it the other night. And we felt like the Photoshop did a great job on both of them.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Oh, we did, didn't it?
Yeah.
I can
Love
tell
it.
you-
That's not my head on my body, or my body on my head. One or the other.
I started to do some pretty funny things with it, but I decided it wouldn't be in my
I think Albert was the best. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean-
Want a joke?
Well, your head in this photograph is not your head from this photograph.
That's from two years ago, or,
Might have had more hair or something?
No, what happened was when the best photograph, everybody was okay except you were looking at Virginia.
When?
So-
What's wrong with that?
There wasn't anything wrong with it, but we wanted to see your pretty face. So I took your head off of one of the other photographs and put into this one.
Can you zoom in
Without
on
my
that?
permission. Oh, okay.
That's Doug's high school picture.
Damn, that goes back how many years, Jim?
You got a dark spot there.
So anyway, y'all are
All right, so-
photogenic, the photograph
so I
turned
didn't see
out
anything
well
wrong
with
with
that one little minor.
Your wife might want a copy of that one.
Which
Lonnie only
Which
made
copy or
3
which wife?
photographs of the council. And none of them was the one we could use. We had to do a composite, so.
So you did a little crash and burn.
He's a crash and burn.
I told you not to,
Turned out to be
I told you
good.
not to eat that second
Cut
hamburger, Jim.
Yeah.
Was there anything else said on the meeting and the procedural that you really,
That
you
was
felt that
the,
we need to improve on a little bit?
no, I think that this was the big thing for staff. And like I say, it's often stressful. Sometimes, you know, the agendas are short and there's no big issues. But just trying to get that finalized as soon as we can so that we've got all the information we need. Like I say, sometimes something that somebody comes up with at the last minute requires us to do some research or,
Well, I don't know if this is the proper time, but at our meeting, we had, Sue and Doug and Charlie and I were all there on the first day, and the second day, Charlie and I were there, but at the ethics meeting, and I haven't even talked to y'all about this, but they said we are legally required to vote. We have a legal, not required, we have a legal obligation to vote.
You do.
If we don't recognize that, then we should not have run for our positions. We all, each of the 5 of us have a legal obligation to vote. And they gave us this flow chart that we should probably share with the others of you that
That
were.
would be Albert and Jim.
Albert, thank you. There's so many people in the
Albert
room.
and Jim.
Well,
Albert and Jim.
bottom
Albert
line,
Jim.
what she, may I?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
bottom line, what she's stating is, we have a judicial precedence or to vote,
Obligation.
an obligation. And the only time that you're exempt from voting is if you have direct financial responsibility or your spouse has direct financial responsibility. Otherwise, you have to vote.
And we cannot
That being-
recuse each other unless that is.
You cannot be, it takes a majority vote for you to be recused. Thirdly, there's no abstaining. It's either yes or no. And fourth, if you're not in attendance and non-excused, am I correct? If you're non-excused, your chair votes yes.
So
we
I
went
screwed
through all
up.
that.
Right.
Okay.
I screwed up. I should have not recused myself on the boutique thing because I do not have a financial gain.
I said that to you that night.
Well, you should have voted not to recuse me. That's your fault.
Did you ask them about the MLS listing, if that
I will
qualifies? or
see,
is it-
I will see statute on that.
G
I brought
S
that stuff with
We
me.
have-
Did you bring it?
160,
I have it here.
75, that is.
I've got it. It's correct, Dave.
160 Alpha 75, it's on page 147.
And that is in conflict with Robert's rules.
Robert's rules do not fall into
Robert's
play here.
rules says verbatim, no one can be forced to vote.
This is North Carolina state law, Albert.
I'm asking, I'm saying we're in
Yeah.
conflict.
That's what confused
Are we
me.
talking
not
about
the
this
Robert's
later?
rules.
We are.
Okay, so we can come back to this later.
Ordinances,
I'm
okay.
sorry. Let's come back to that later. And then I'll have that flow chart because it is fabulous. Because if you're visual or it just kind of, and then I can explain why I should have not recused myself.
We can take your copy of mine and have them run it
A
off
person
here.
cannot recuse himself anyway.
You have
They
to
can
vote.
ask to be recused.
Right.
And then the vote has to be.
Has to be.
Right, and I think I said I am recusing myself, and I should have said,
No, we
may
voted.
I recuse myself?
voted.
Because I just left. I didn't wait for y'all to recuse
We
me or not.
voted, we voted.
Okay.
We get voted.
We voted.
I asked you,
We voted
how
on
could
it.
that be construed as engagement for you? That's what I
Well,
asked.
I think my misunderstanding was that they could let me go. I mean, they do have a power over me. I do not own the agency. I hang my shingle there. They benefit when I sell something, but when they sell something, I do not benefit.
Well,
And I think we even got into where even if he was the
That's why I was wondering
exclusive
why you did that.
realtor
Yeah,
for it.
I would, so I'm apologizing and I'm saying I did it wrong. And I will eat crow.
no, you follow what you thought was right. We all agreed
but-
on it.
But
Okay.
let's print that out, and then when you want to talk about this, I wasn't sure if this was the right time or not.
It's tomorrow.
Tomorrow, we'll have those printed out for y'all to look at, and then we can,
But yeah, it was very informative, guys. I want to thank you for allowing us to go.
I'm glad
Part of the
that.
rules.
I learned a
I generally
lot.
try to have that pretty
And I-
close to the election.
And I learned a lot that was not in line with Robert's rules. Robert's rules is written more for
I
parliamentary.
believe there is a statement.
On
It's
page
either
98,
98.
it's the last sentence on page 98.
Robert's Rules of Order shall govern all procedural matters not addressed by the provisions of this chapter, so this can trump Robert's
Right.
rules.
However, no action taken by the board shall be invalidated by failure to abide by Robert's rules.
Right.
So it's a guideline to us.
And
but
then
it's
some
not-
things are statutorily controlled that are in conflict with Robert's rules.
And that being one of them.
And that's
The
state law, and state law
160-75.
trumps Robert's rules.
Well, what's the penalty for that?
Hanging in the park before we cut the trees
It
down.
can be a misdemeanor.
From the white lights.
Yeah.
Well, there aren't gonna be any trees left. so
I
don't
could see
worry about
why,
hanging them.
I could see why some people want to be accused because they could be perceived as having,
Well, what they say,
That's another whole ball
Oh,
of
I'll
wax.
bet you.
Yeah, the perception is another thing. And you can take you can say, we can talk about that later.
yeah, we'll talk about it. I can see why
They
you
told
wanted,
us
what
I can
they
see
said.
why you wanted to do it.
Yeah.
You go into more depth on this
On
tomorrow.
this side of
I'll
the,
read up on my book.
on this side of the paper, you had that where how
Legal.
you could be perceived.
Right,
Which your ethics may tell you that you should not do it.
yeah.
And you can. But then you flip the
Flip it
paper
over.
over, and it tells you that you feel like you should,
Ethically.
how you will be perceived, and that you feel that you shouldn't be able to do this, and it tells you, no, you can't feel that way. You
Right.
have to vote.
You have to do
It's
it
really
whether
just
the
that.
newspapers
It's
chop
only
you up or
half full,
not.
half empty, depends on which side of the paper you were looking at.
It's good.
Well, what, does it say yes, no, or?
Yes.
Yes.
yes,
or,
It's a flow chart.
No, there's no maybes. Okay?
there's no way, that's true.
No what?
No maybes.
No, maybe.
There's no gray.
Yeah, it's pretty cut and dry. It was a good session.
But if you want to bring down a Lexus or something to give to me
Oh,
at
yeah.
town hall,
You want to be.
and it says to me, that's fine, because I can give it as Hillary or
You can
Nicole
put it
can have
at-
it.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
can-
just can't have it.
They were talking about.
You can share that with the town.
Yeah.
Park it in the
Yeah.
middle of the town and leave the key in it,
Yeah.
but you cannot drive away in it.
I can't have it
The
myself.
town can have it,
That's right.
but Doug cannot have it.
And that's.
We talked about gifts too.
What do you want?
What's next?
Shall we move on? I think the last thing is for today is Economic Development Director. I think this has been discussed some.
And I'm not privy to the information that y'all, obviously y'all have covered this topic before, but I got a resume which is included here. It was just kind of out of the blue. I mean, we didn't have a position announced or anything, but I got this letter with an accompanying email that said, hey, I want to be your economic developer and you need to hire me. And,
It's all good.
because I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we included it here. Well, I already knew, from having participated in some of the chamber and foundation meetings, that the foundation, it was the economic development arm of the chamber had already been discussing the possibility in a couple of meetings that I went to of hiring a economic developer totally at their expense. And they had indicated in that meeting, which has been several months ago, that they were talking about something within the next year. And we've already it's been at least 6 months already, so when I got this resume, there was a request to put it on the agenda, and I said, well, I already know that the chamber is talking about it. I called Charles Harden and I asked him where they were in that discussion and if that was something they were still planning to do, and he said, yes, but, and I said, how far out? And he said, well, he said, it's changed. He said, it's probably gonna be 3 years. And what they were talking about doing was taking this pot of money that came from the chamber, and they were looking at dividing that, trying to find somebody that they could get to come and be an economic developer for a 3-year position. And they even mentioned a number that they were hoping they would be able to get somebody for. And then it sounds like it's kind of dropped by the wayside a little bit right now, or it's been pushed out further. Anyway, this person is kind of what prompted that, and I see we didn't redact there. Of course, he emailed it to me, so it's public record anyway.
Uh-oh, let's blot out his email address.
On the website.
Yeah, real quick.
So anyway, it brought rise to the opportunity to talk about it again. I know some of you, I wasn't even here, so some of you weren't here when this had been discussed before, and I don't know how far out it's been since you've been on board.
You were here because you set up the meeting with the economic developer.
No, I'm talking about in y'all's previous, in years past, you were talking about, y'all considered.
Well, we've been to meetings and we've talked about it. I think my point, I was the one who asked to put it on there, was that I don't want, personally, the chamber to be the only one involved in economic development, because I think that's a business side. I want the residents to be involved in this. So one way to do that would be to be able to split a position or to at least be involved in the process. I just didn't want it to be forgotten. And when you told me a year out, I asked Charles and he said, no, we're looking at 3 or 4. And it's one of those things that I don't want us to lose sight of, because I think we need help. And, you know, we have never put money in the budget, but that's coming up. I just wanted to make sure that it's still part of our
Well,
site.
Guilford, Watauga County has an economic development, okay? You're looking at a lot of money. We're never gonna be an industrial community, okay? I do not see Boeing coming in and putting in a plant, okay? We're tourism and summer residents. And as a citizen, I'm hard pressed to see that kind of money spent before we have a guideline on what is this person gonna do?
Well, what about those of us who are not tourism and summer residents?
What's an economic developer gonna do for you? Most cases, an economic developer works with industry chamber and the councils and so on, and bringing in industry. They don't really get involved in advertising per se, like the chamber does or TDA. I don't know, I mean, I'm just throwing it out to you.
Well, I think, so what I'm trying to get you to do is think about the town a little differently like we did. We didn't come here to Blowing Rock for business or for tourism. We came here for the school.
Mhm.
So, an economic, and I don't know what that person does. It'd be interesting to talk to the Watauga County guy and what he looks at when he's trying to economically develop our county. But I think, or if we send out a survey to people that are coming to the town and ask them why they're coming to the town. And what are the holes?
Magellan survey that represents that.
What are the holes that we're missing, you know, if we, so what you're talking about, business and summer residents, that still leaves January, February, March with who's gonna help keep the lights on in the town.
I don't think,
So there's some holes, I think, that, I
there's
mean.
been a real question about the Blowing Rock School numbers going down. And what I think of that could work in Blowing Rock is internet businesses. And it tends to be younger people. So then, you know, it actually can snowball into a lot of stuff. Where are they gonna live? If they're young people, and they're just starting out and they have small children, that would help fill the school. They don't necessarily have to live in the town limits, but what's available around us for housing.
That's fair.
So,
What is
I
the-
think
What is the definition, since you want this brought into the agenda?
The,
What is the definition of an economic developer?
the role of an economic developer is to create business, and business retention are the primary roles. Business creation and business retention. So trying to facilitate a way for businesses that are already here to stay here, and trying to get new businesses to come in. And
So that doesn't really help. I mean, I think one of the things that we need to figure out is how to get the however many houses that we have in town, people to be there more, because our whole economy would lift if our summer people were here more. I mean, that would affect our sales tax, that would affect already they help our property taxes. Luckily, we're blessed for that, but I don't know, if they're all retired people, then bringing new businesses in, they're retired, how does new business help us?
But new business is such a broad term. We have to take it further, because we do not have the advantages of a lot of communities where we have a lot of things are on the cliffs. A lot of people, our property is a lot more expensive than what it could be in other places.
I just think we're not looking at this the right way.
Well, I'm waiting here for this. I've served for 3 years on the Economic Development Group for the Chamber when I was part of this. And this whole subject was brought up of an economic development manager. And what the Chamber did is that they went out and they said, we need to do exactly what you did. We got some existing businesses and we need to help those businesses because, some people are in their business as a hobby and other people are in it as a regular business. So we need to have some things to help them become better in their existing business. They found out that it's cheaper to help existing businesses stay in business than it is to go out and find new ones. So then they just said, well, okay, they did a survey. Well, what kind of businesses would we like in this town? So they did one of those surveys. And it ran, again, mostly services. It was the kinds of services. And then they found out exactly the percentage in our village and also the people that visited, what would they need. After they did that, they said, all right, if somebody wants to relocate here, where are we going to put them? Whoops. Boy Rock, you don't have any town, and any more land, and I can tell you, according to what the state says, you can't annex anybody unless they petition you. So you can't add any more land. So what do we have to offer? Well, we don't have an awful lot to offer, except because what we got here is a bunch of rock, but no big spaces. And then having served on the transportation board for the state, we found out that another reason nobody will come to Wautauga County because we don't have an airport. And there are no plans in the next 20 years for us to have an airport. So if you're going to get industry here, they have to be able to have an airport. Well, we don't have one. And we don't have any trains. All we got is buses and cars. That's it. So they said, well, then what are the real good things that we have to offer? Well, you articulated them. One of them was our schools, education, healthcare, fabulous healthcare. And we got a bunch of what they would call cottage industries. So based upon that, we were talking about, well, how much is this going to cost to get somebody like this? Well, it got into over $100,000 a year. By the time you paid salaries, benefits, travel expenses, etc. When I looked at that for Floyd Rock, I thought, what in the world would we be doing that for? This is a county issue.
That's right.
So when people go out to try to get somebody to come here, they're gonna come and look at Watauga County. Is this where we wanna put a business? And then after that, where will we put our business? Will we put it in Fosco? Will we put it in Boone? Will we put it in Blowing Rock?
So what's our relationship with, you said you sat on boards.
No, not the board. I sat on the Economic
Chamber.
Development Chamber Committee. That was, the whole thing was economic.
And were you on that committee as a town council member
Well, I happened to be on the town council as well, and then there was a
at the same
time
time?
for 2 years I wasn't on the council, and I still stayed on it.
Do we have someone that is involved
Charles
in,
Harden is now. I just came,
as a representative for the county?
yes, Charles Harden has a spot as
the
a
table.
at the
Yeah.
table as a chamber
Yeah.
and has a vote.
Okay.
I just completed, right before the election, a 6-year term with the Watauga County Economic Development Commission.
As Seven Devils guy, or,
No, I was an appointment at large by the commissioners.
okay, do
It
they
didn't
have,
hurt that I was involved in local government, but it wasn't because of my position.
do we have, I feel like, and I think I'm gonna learn more about this tomorrow and on Tuesday too, but I feel like there's some disconnects with Blowing Rock, Boone, the county, that we might need to get in on some of this stuff.
There have been efforts, I agree with that, there are.
I mean,
Sue served as commissioner, she knows, everyone, you know, there's disconnects between the county and Boone, and the county and Blowing Rock, and between Blowing Rock and Boone. So, and some of those are hurdles that.
and the university,
And the university, and there have been organizations that have risen and fallen and risen and fallen. There was an effort to join all 4 of the municipalities and ASU and the county. We met once a quarter, I'm thinking, were you
For
on
about
that?
for about 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years.
We met once a quarter for about 2 years.
And it just it was a lot of dissension, there's a lot of opposing, competing interest. And it just didn't go well. Blowing Rock's interests are not the same as Boone's, they're not the same as the county's. This is just personal opinion, and it's worth what you pay for it. Blowing Rock, in my opinion, is way too small for an economic development. The county is an appropriate venue, in my opinion, if you were going to have one. Right now, Joe Furman handles that role through the planning and inspections department for the county.
But they should really have somebody that's what their role is.
Yeah.
You know, the biggest
he's the
thing right now
head,
we
he's
got,
the head of the planning department,
yeah,
and he's the economic,
He is,
So guess what's
his,
gotten done?
his title, I think, is planning board director and planning and economic development director, so. But I can tell you from having sat on that board for 6 years, the kinds of things that we're talking about wanting, you know, they're not even practical for the county, much less for Blowing Rock. We're not gonna pull in industry, we're not gonna pull in any heavy makers. We've got to get to the point where we accept what we have and work on that and quit trying to get other things to come. We're a tourism town.
You think about,
The only thing I
that's a
would-
good point, and Tim, I think you made a hell of a point. But one thing that you mentioned, the other one, gosh, when I first met you and your husband, and I think my sister introduced you guys, introduced us all. You said the reason we moved here was because my husband decided, and correct me if I'm mistaken, my husband decided to look at different universities and decided, and you wanted to get the children into a better school system. And you started looking and you found Appalachian State, am I correct? And then everything blossomed from there, you found Blowing Rock after, am I right? And so you were looking,
we drove down Main Street in Blowing Rock, and then the best schools in the system were Blowing Rock, at the time, this was 11 years ago, were Blowing Rock and Parkway.
yeah,
Those were the best.
Look at how you guys ended up here. You, from your education and your husband's need or want to change, your want to change, and you ended up in Boone, but then you ended up here. Am I right?
We would have never lived in Boone.
Right, right. But what you think about that?
If we had.
Oh, no.
Are we still being
Hence,
filmed?
hence the split between the one and five.
Just ruined myself. Now I won't get on any of those things.
Tell me how you feel, Virginia.
You know,
There's
there's
something else to consider too, though, and, you look at Blowing Rock, I know, we wish we were busy all the time in town, and it was capacity all the time. Look at how often we are at capacity. If we try to bring more people in to what we have, we're just gonna frustrate them.
Yeah, ask somebody who comes to town in the middle of the winter and they wait an hour to sit at one of our restaurants. Huh?
And that's a
Couldn't believe
topic
it.
that we're gonna cover later on shuttles and buses,
Yeah.
but, you know, the town is only so big, you know, the main part is what, 3 blocks? And I don't know how many restaurants are in those 3 blocks, but when we have every parking place taken and we have people standing in line for 1 hour at a restaurant to try to eat, you get letters. I wish I'd asked Tracy to bring the letter we got about everything we're doing wrong by trying to get more people to come, that we can't accommodate the ones we've got now. They said they were walking around in businesses and stepping all over other people. They were waiting in lines at a restaurant and they were very frustrated. And I know that's just one person, but there's a lot of that sentiment out there. When we're at capacity, trying to bring more people in than when we're already at capacity just frustrates everybody.
The thing
You
is,
know, the other thing that we looked at, Jim, when we had the woman that came out,
Yeah.
I'm blanking on her name.
Mrs. Gold something,
Gold,
Goldberg or something like that.
Goldberg,
From
is that her name?
From Charlotte or Winston-Salem.
And one of the things
Oh, yeah.
that she said is that part of economic development for a town is to decide what businesses you want to bring in and look at what you have available. And see where your needs are. So things like the pharmacy and,
Part of that, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting. I think it's kind of like we're confusing some roles. We don't need an economic developer. If we need something, we need a chamber Main Street marketing director or something of that nature.
Or somebody to get our residents that already have homes here to be here more. What would
You know,
make them stay here
yeah,
longer? What would, and I think we've improved that with Winterfest. I think we've improved that with, I think we're not, there's other ways that we need to look at it besides economic developer.
Well, I think you're a prime example and a good example of you and your husband. He works in Boone. You all live in Blowing Rock. It's not unlike living in Raleigh or working in Raleigh and living in Hillsborough. And I think that's what we're going to see more of as we go forward. You know, I hope so.
Well, especially if they keep selling off Boone.
Well, we got 321s now. This is going to be completed here pretty quickly. And there are certain parcels on 321 that will spur new businesses moving in. But there's a problem there as well. But they're small lots. And so that will help our town grow a little bit there with that. Now, how we do that and what we do that, with that is going to be up to this council to decide how it's designed and all that kind of stuff. So it's not all bad. People will come here because it's a good place to work. Now, you raised another interesting question too. We don't have affordable housing in our town. In the last 20 years, I've watched the number of people that have had to move out because of the taxes and the cost of their property. they can make more money selling the dirt in their house and go live someplace else and live very, very nicely than stay here in this town. So we don't have affordable housing. And there are, I don't know what's the young, go to New York, the young people don't have any problem living down there. New York City, but they're in a different kind of business. Right?
And the
Well,
salaries
I don't
there
think they
are
own.
5 times higher because of.
I think
They
they
buy those
business.
apartments in the millions of dollars, some of those people that are in their 30s and 40s.
They also
Millions.
rent for about,
But my
That's
point
right.
is, we don't have those kind of folks moving here, young
Yeah.
people.
Well, the thing we tend to forget is the labor pool here. It's horrible. It's horrible. Target opened a distribution center in the city limits of Newton. They employed 800 people. 6,000 people applied for the jobs. That's a labor pool.
And they came from all different little cities down there
Came
too.
from everywhere.
Yeah.
One of
They
the,
took their pick.
one of the emphasis that the county put on economic development was bringing exactly what you said about trying to get these young entrepreneurs to come in with, you know, they can operate from anywhere, as long as they've got broadband and a fast connection, but they
Fiber
can't afford to
optics.
live here, they can't afford to live in Brooklyn.
They
They-
can,
They can,
yes.
with affordable housing of $150,000?
Yeah, it's a whole different, a lot of people, so I have clients from Microsoft and another, you know, yes, but we don't have the fiber optics, we don't have the broadband. They would come. We might-
Fiber optics are in there.
We might talk about that.
So
That's
when,
it. Is that tomorrow, on
we put it in
tomorrow?
downtown.
Do what now?
We didn't, fiber optic
We
isn't
don't
all
have
over.
fiber
We have
optics.
it, we did put it to connect,
Okay, well, I thought it was because I'm hooking up at the Rock.
from us.
Fiber optic.
Almost
Oh, yeah.
unbelievably, the best broadband is in the western part of the county.
That's a little scary.
I mean,
Around
that would be a
Seven
fabulous,
Seven Devils is a 1 gig community.
Really?
Beach Mountain is a 1 gig community. Boone is not. Eastern Watauga County is the most deprived. From Boone east towards Deep Gap, there's no fiber. The best service that is available is AT&T service, which is not very good. I forgot what it's called, what is it? They have some special name. And AT&T will not put in the infrastructure that's required to get the broadband.
that doesn't mean we can't do it.
We can't do it.
Wilson did it, Morganton did it, Chattanooga, Tennessee did it.
And they spent millions of dollars,
I know.
millions and millions.
Well, let me stop you for a moment. Okay? Go down Valley Boulevard. Look at the containers. It says property up, rim cover. Okay? And it is the fiber optics that they put in. So, I've got it at the Rock. We just hooked up to it. Unfortunately through AT&T, but that's our choice.
Isn't it through Skyline? Skyline?
Now it's through AT&T.
I didn't know AT&T.
They brought in a whole new modem
This
system.
cause some trouble.
But, so obviously it's on 321. Now, that might be part of our program coming up for the next few years, when we elect to take that hard choice and start putting utilities underground. Maybe that time as well, that's when the,
We put fiber optic to get the fire department connected to
The
town hall, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And we did the,
We also did the water plant and sewer plant.
water plant, sewer plant, and didn't we do, police, because they weren't hooked up, and we did, public works, didn't we?
We got all of those buildings you mentioned done within the last 6 months.
so it's running in town.
But that is Ridgelink, who is a subsidiary of Blue Ridge Energy. They did a spinoff. Brad Shields is in charge of that company. And they started providing dark fiber in wherever they can. Now, they don't light it. They just provide it dark, so they have to lease that. Skyline is who is, what Ridgelink ran for us is being operated by Skyline. But legislatively, Virginia, what they did in Wilson is no longer allowed. The state intervened.
Well, it doesn't seem like shops on the Parkway have problems getting new tenants when people move out. I'm gonna hire that guy.
Yeah, he's new, I haven't really been.
Maybe another day.
Well, one moves out, another moves in pretty quick over there.
But one of the things I think that we need to keep, remembering, and it's been said multiple times here, is that we are a town based on tourism. And try and keep enhancing and making our town look as good as it does, and we keep Blowing Rock School at the top. These businesses that's coming into boom, I think, in the long run, are gonna help us because they don't wanna live over there. They may wanna work over there, but we're gonna start getting to fall off. A lot of them are gonna be wanting to live in other areas away from there. So, I feel like if we can keep on top of our toes and making this town look the best as it can, if we're gonna draw the residents this way.
I agree. With that being said, should I make a motion?
You can't.
Then I am simply stating this meeting is adjourned. And I want to thank everybody, the citizens, council,
Well, reconvene tomorrow at,
12
0800.
o'clock. It's 0800.
What's the scenario?
6 o'clock, we're meeting down
Lobby.
in the lobby. Is that correct? You go to Copper
That's
River,
right.
which is just right up the road.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes,
Copper River is where we're
Question.
Yeah, go out to the front here, take a right, and it's on your left, and it's probably 2 miles, maybe a mile. It's not far down. Big place, huge place.
Good place.
Don't get that close.
It was great.
Good place.
I'll have to go outside and get warm,
Place
Charlie.
to be.
Why didn't you keep the gun out? You didn't want to sweat.
It's a good place to eat.
No.
It's not,
At a prearranged
I don't know.
What's that about?
See where you eat. He's got it in his agenda.
Definitely, I don't know about this year, but that definitely is a future thing. Sounds like a great thing, say 7 o'clock, Wednesday night. Everybody- Yeah, everybody that's interested in the board, come.
Yeah, they just told me.
I would, I don't know how well they're gonna keep it locked.
I don't either.
I don't know any computers yet.
Nobody wants your book.
Yeah, they do. Your picture's on it, that's worth money.
It is.
Oh, we have to.
Tell me something. What, I know you have a reason. Tell me what happened.
Albert, 4542, Jacksonville. Jacksonville one.
That's a big one. It's big.
3 minutes of a Q&A for their presentation, so everybody gets to know you have.
Maybe they should have kept Rothenberg at the bench.
He had 462 yards of passing. 462 yards of passing, 5 touchdowns. And he still won.
Yeah.
Have a straw one that I wear in the summer, so, yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's for son.
I agree, okay. I figured you had a reason.
I bet you the gal
I
is
just
like
thought
a
I'd-
fat.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
This circulating.
That's okay because
I don't
that's the
know.
way
It's
we're
just
gonna
time
vote. They
for
don't
somebody.
want to vote.
Well, I think
So we'll wait until we
this is what's floating. I haven't heard it officially from anybody.
all right. Well, hey, guess what? No, the Jaguars won. Was it 45 to 35?
45-42.
They scored,
And Roethlisberger, for the
he
losing,
scored
You know,
9 points in the last 2 minutes.
Roethlisberger, in a losing cause, passed 462 yards and 5 touchdowns
well, I know that
and
it's.
1 interception. It's probably the interception that
As
cost
a
them.
season,
Your team
I
lost,
remember the first time we.
But they lost.
and they lost.
My brother's team won.
Well,
The Jags.
I was actually hoping
First in the team.
for Jags.
The Jags are gonna have it. Can you imagine when they get up to Boston, what that's gonna be like?
When they get to New England,
It's like Sunday school.
Who knows?
Wait till they get to
but
New
you
England.
still ain't going to
Then we
get
go to-
Their secondary is as good as anybody in the
You
league.
know that Belichick's like Alabama
That's what brought us there.
and Saban. You know?
Damn right.
Yeah.
That movie's
I
over.
just went to-
I tell the Jags that when they get to the locker room, the cold water's on the right. That's when, because they'll be going by halftime.
Well, the thing of it is, that, you know, I mean, New England obviously is a great passing team. But Jags actually have the best secondary in the league.
We'll see if that works.
See what-
We've always talked about how blessed we are, and how we should give back. And I love that. I love that, and I hope our next guy will do that too.
I think it's Dr. Michael Brown, but his colleague released some sermons on it.
Oh, great.
Here is the company
So
that is all they
we
do.
are very, if
All
this is
their
true,
people
which I think
are
it is,
Vetted,
It's not
teachers,
big.
this,
Well, I
12,
hope
18
they don't
months.
just
And then
send
you,
out
all the
all this
hotels know.
I mean, I hope they'll have like
This is
a
the
party
company.
or,
oh, I don't
you
know
know,
about
some
that.
way
And at the
to
end of
it
the
in a
I
day,
way.
want that, it's
when
hard
you
to
go,
know.
when
Yeah, I
If you
guess
could
it
share
should
it.
be
what that
what
child ate
he
and what
wants.
they did.
But it would
Yeah.
be nice to
Everybody
thank
gets to
him
know
for
you know what
his,
you've been taught people.
instead of it just being somebody new there the
You know,
next
this
year,
is
maybe
the
they
area.
can hand it off to
Yeah,
them.
and people come to me all the
You know,
time.
maybe-
Well, and I'm sure, I know that they will do it, they do it right. though.
Yeah, I'm sure.
They'll do
They
it
get
if that's what.
Because I would love it.
I mean,
I think
we
we
recognize
the
transportation.
And I'm sure other people would too. Because I don't see them.
They're sinners. They make
Um,
grandparents should be kept. I mean, when we were
Have you ever
I can't find mine.
I'm
I
like,
can't
the
get it out. I
cocktail
was
hour
going
ticket,
through
you
that
know,
stuff. And I just love that. I love, I'm so visual. I love that,
cocktails.
Yeah, cocktails.
That's
what I'm asking about.
We didn't think about it.
Let's do a cocktail hour.
Yeah.
Same old deal.
We'll leave it.
You know, but.
You have to provide this for me.
Let's say,
I have an incredible idea for
I'm sure there's cocktails.
a business, but I don't know who they would
It's just an hour. No, it's 10 till 7. We'll leave.
Right now. Yeah, I mean, I've been,
what do you call it? So,
well, I have over 104 orders.
Yeah.
I think we're down.
It's too long.
Probably so, but anyway, it's always interesting to hear their perspective.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, wonderful.
Real
nice.
Spring break and
Did
stay.
you can see that.
It's
TGIF.
Go straight through.
Pass the cookie desk and take a left.
All the hotels, nobody wants to be responsible.
yeah.
A couple of women,
Yes.
18, 20 minutes
There's
an
one
hour.
at the, there's one at the beach, you're talking about like, I need a plan.
No, I need a sitter for this
Oh,
semester,
sitter.
sitter. And
Sitters,
your
yeah.
teachers, they're
Yeah.
adults.
Yeah.
18, 20 bucks
I've
an hour,
got
you know,
it's country song.
Right.
but it's like an agency.
Yeah.
And they have all these people
It's
on,
got
they
a
come to
good
where
menu.
you are, they give you a report, and you pick them up with the child day, what they did, you
Yeah.
provide an answer for them.
Wow.
But you have all these young people, and grandparents, that come, they ask me all the time, do I know any babies?
Yeah, I know. They ask a stranger. Yeah, I know. There should
You
be
know, I mean, the
some
kind of person you would get for a 2-year-old is different than you get for a 7-year-old.
Oh, sure.
So what we're gonna do is meet in the bar at 6:15 with Bruins,
Right.
and then 10
But
to
that's
7
a
if you
home,
don't
that
want
could be a
Bruins.
home-based, could be
Yeah.
based,
That's a
and I
great
have the
idea.
name of that
Yeah.
company.
Yeah, it'd be cool to see the forms, so you wouldn't have to read them at the
You
will.
should see.
We had, I thought about that.
And this is not all hotels,
Okay.
Yeah, you got a lot of
in
responsibility.
Yep, but I
But
thought
that's
you
what
were
you
going,
know to
there was
do.
a place we used in, at the beach, and you know, all that stuff that comes with the
It
baby.
does get hot,
And
it
we're
gets
like,
cold,
oh.
it's weird.
The place we stayed
It
didn't
does
have
do that.
a playpen or a, pack and play.
Black and white.
So they had a, company
Yeah.
that was like you were saying, moms and
Yeah.
stuff,
If I don't
that
show
would
up,
rent out,
Yeah, don't worry about it, yeah, don't worry about it.
strollers,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
If you're there,
You know,
I
stroller,
come in
you
all
know,
the time,
all
I'll
that
say
kind of
it's a
stroller. Yeah.
Mainly because they forgot it or they
This is
didn't
one of
think
those
they
things
needed it.
Yeah, or it's
Walmart
just too
got
much
it.
to load
Yeah.
in, yeah. I know, but who wants to buy another
I know.
umbrella
The
stroller?
babysitters, then the
Yeah.
parents could be out at a decent restaurant and not sitting over at, you know, where
Yeah.
they have a
She's
few
gonna-
hours
that work
out
for you?
and
Yeah, those are
shopping.
good. I've seen those before.
Or,
Uh,
and I also.
And just let her hand make copies and hand out
Six
everybody.
15 the bar, it's a
Okay.
nice bar here.
Good. Like a fun zone place, you know, like they have here in
6
Nashville
o'clock.
where.
Yeah, they have a new, like a
6 o'clock.
climbing center
Yeah.
place, but that's
Yeah.
not good for
That
the
was a good
littlest.
idea.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah, that's definitely, not for this year, but.